Hello traders, welcome to MarketAddiction.net. Today is Tuesday, April 7th, 2009. Had some selling today. Dow was down 186 points, Nasdaq was down 45 points, S&P 500 was down 19 points. Starting out here at the daily chart of the S&P 500, you can see that we have this 10-day moving average above the 20-day, above the 50-day. Which starting to look a little bit constructive in here. The 50-day moving average is starting to flatten out a little bit. I'm pointing out that we maybe have this inverted head and shoulders forming. This little pullback in here I don't think was really big enough for a right shoulder, so it might end up looking something like this. I mean, when you draw these, they're not precise. You can maybe put a neckline maybe here, maybe around in here, but either way, it's looking like you can maybe make a case for a bullish argument in here that we're starting to finally see a basing pattern in the overall markets on the long-term time frame. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I'm not by any means bullish yet, but just something I'm looking out for. Let's look at the 60-minute chart. We're still bullish on the intermediate term time frame. We have these higher lows in here, higher highs. The 5-day moving average is still pointing up. Looking at the 10-minute chart, the short-term time frame still concerns me a little bit. We are in a downtrend here. We have these lower highs, lower lows, and we are now below this 5-day moving average. So if it starts to flatten out, maybe if we sell down a little bit more, we can come back up, test it from the bottom as resistance, and then maybe get a further sell-off and a little bit steeper decline. Then you have to look at the 60-minute chart for some next possible levels of support, which can maybe be down around this area. Looks like we're right around this gap fill level already. So this will probably be the next area right in here, as far as the next move to the downside if this selling continues. But we have had a good run in here as of late, so this pullback wouldn't be necessarily too bad of a thing. Looking at some of the individual stocks on my watch list, I will give you a few tonight that I'm looking at. One of the ones is PFE. This is called on the short side. On the daily chart here, we have this declining 50-day moving average. The moving average is starting to cross over. They're kind of mixed up in here, which is usually a sign of indecision, so be a little careful with this one. We do have these lower highs in here, though. Zoomed into the 60-minute chart, this is where I really like this one. We have these lower highs, and we have this big area of support here, and it's really about almost like a descending triangle pattern. So I think if we get a break below this support level, we could see some further selling, and this one's looking like it could give us a pretty good risk reward ratio with, as it is right now, stop right around here, right above this previous high. Going back to the daily time frame, your target could be right down around these previous lows. So this one looks like it's setting up nice for further weakness if this market does start to decline. Another one I'm looking at is NITE. This is also called on the short side. We have a declining 50-day moving average. The 50-day is above the 20-day, which is above the 10-day. So they're all stacked nicely to the downside. Looking at the 60-minute chart, it's been kind of choppy in here the last week or two. But overall, it's in a downtrend, and it's now getting below this 5-day moving average, which is flattening out. So I'm looking at this one, zoomed into the 10-minute time frame. It's looking pretty good for a short sale candidate on the short-term time frame. So you have these lower highs, lower lows, and this level, this small little level of support in here was just recently broken. So this one might be set up to enter sometime soon. You can maybe even wait for it to get down to here. Looking back at the 60-minute chart, that would be this level. If this one sells off, it could come back down to right around this 1330, 1340 level. Looking at the daily chart, you can maybe even make a case for it coming back down to 1280, or eventually all the way down here, depending on what your time frame is. But this one's been in a good downtrend. Looks like it could continue on market weakness. Another one I'm looking at is SAY. This is a call on the long side. With this one, I'm just kind of throwing at you a very speculative bet. Basically, is what this is going to be on the long side. I'll be watching this one. The daily chart, this looks horrible to make any bullish case, but this would be a very short-term trade. Looking at the 60-minute chart, you can see why I kind of like this one. You have this 5-day moving average pointing up. Had this big run up on big volume. I'm sure there was some kind of news in here. I didn't check. I really don't care too much about the news. Had this pullback. The pullback's on lower volume, so I think we can maybe see another leg up in this one. Zoomed in a 10-minute chart, maybe even if we get above this little bit of resistance here, we could get a pretty decent move. Even if you got another move up to this level, and if you got in then a break above this level here on the 265, 270 level, to stop here, even this trade would be a good risk reward ratio. But you can look back at the daily chart, and depending on how brave you are at this one, you can maybe hold it through a gap fill, because there's this big gap back here. Well, actually, this wouldn't even be a gap fill. This would just be a previous low, which looks like about a half gap fill. So there's all this area in here where this stock could try to move to fill some of this big gap back here. But this one is very speculative, basically a bet on the long side. But if you're real quick, you want a short-term trade, then this one looks like it might be a pretty decent setup. Another one I'm looking at is SU. Looks a little bit better than the last stock I pointed out. Has a higher high in here. Longer term basing pattern. 50-day moving average is starting to point up. We do have the 10 and 20-day moving average crossing. So again, be a little more careful with this one. But we did have this run up on increasing volume. The pullback was on lower volume. So that's a good sign. Looking at the 60-minute chart, this is again where I really like this one the best. Looks like we're maybe putting in this higher low in here, and we have this level of resistance above us. So it looks like we're working our way up to. I think if we can get a break above this, we can see some more buyers come in, at least back up to this 28 level. Looking at the daily chart, you could maybe make a case for this previous high back here, maybe even a run to this 200-day moving average. So this one looks like it could have some decent upside potential in it as well. I like to have both long and short setups on my list to make sure I'm ready for all scenarios, because you never know which way it's going to go. If you'd like to check out the rest of the stocks on my watch list, I have some pretty good setups. Visit my website at marketaddiction.net if you're just watching this on YouTube. Be sure to check out the links on the side. Stop back and have a great day.